The first step is printing off all the necessary parts needed for this upgrade, which will be included down below. Second is removing the old carriage from the Anet A8 frame. And it's 12 bolts. You need a Phillips head screwdriver to remove them, which I'm showing you right now. Remove the fan and the extruder, the motor, everything should be removed. Next, remove the belts from the back of the mount. Depends on what kind of setup you have, but with mine I had them attached to the back of the carriage, as I showed in the video. After you get done with that, remove the wires from the extruder and then mount the new carriage onto the frame. Again, it's the same 12 bolts that you removed from the old metal carriage. And I noticed that after I printed off the carriage, that the holes in the back weren't big enough, so I used the clipper that came with the printer to make the holes a bit bigger to fit the screws. And the screws I use are the M3 18mm, and I used 4 of them because I'm just cheap and I wanted to save a few for another project. But if you have all 6, you might as well just use all 6 of them. After you're done screwing in all 6 screws, or 4 like I did, you want to secure the belts on the back with a zip tie. And then after you do that, you want to insert the belt loops into the back of the holder. Make sure they're secure. And the next step is adding the blower fan. It's 2 screws. The holes weren't big enough on my mount, so I used a Dremel tool to make the holes a bit bigger. Then add the fan duct and secure it in place. Next, remove the fan, the cooling fan from the extruder. It's two long screws. Remove the fan from the wiring. You're going to have to cut it, and then we're going to have to strip it and solder it back on to the new fan. I used the wires that came with the E3D V6. It's a simple process. You just strip the wires and solder them together. Positive to positive, negative to negative, black to black, red to red. This is me soldering the 2 wires together for the fan. And be careful, use a well ventilated area so you don't get no smoke in your lungs. And I also use some heat shrink tubing to ensure that I wouldn't touch it accidentally and short circuit anything, which I highly recommend this. remove your old sensor from the old mount. I'm using a Tronxy, I think it's 08N, but it depends on what type you have. Next, attach 2 M330 screws to the cap. I use the cap that will accommodate my auto bed leveling sensor. It depends if you have one or not, which I include the files in the description. And then you're going to attach the nut holder to the sensor itself with the 2 screws. Then tighten it down really good. After that, you attach the hot end to the cap. And I know it's kind of confusing because I had to go back and edit these videos, so just follow along with my voice and the video. Then attach the fan to the hot end, and then tighten the screws on the cap to the carriage. And that's pretty much it for this part.